Hello and welcome to Conversation Corner. My name is Kunal. Today we'll be talking about why being able to forget or why a loss of memory can be a very good thing. I was in the 10th standard when I appeared for my board exams. I remember at that point in time there were quite a few subjects I had to study for, and there used to be textbooks for these subjects which had lots and lots of chapters, and we had to memorize most of it in order to pass our exam. At that point in time, I thought it would be really useful if I could just remember everything and not forget it. Because in order to remember something, I needed to read it, I needed to memorize it, and I needed to recollect it and get it right. And this is a task that would take a lot of time. I needed to keep doing that again and again and again. And at some point in time, I really wished that I had an amazing memory which would never fail me. Fast forward a couple of years, I have changed my opinion and with good reason, and that's what I want to talk to you about. See, the human brain does not store memory like a computer stores information. A computer stores information just as it has been transferred from one file to another, from one file to another, from one file to another. Just as the files are transferred, they appear in the different drives. But human memory is influenced a lot by emotions and biases. There's some term called conflation. I believe it's when you recollect an event that never even took place. So our recollection of how things happened may cause us to recall events that never even took place. That's one reason why you may not want to remember everything, because you may start remembering things that never even took place. Number two, our memory is colored by emotions, and there is memory that has a strong emotional attachment, and there's a memory that has a weak emotional attachment. Let's take, for an example, someone who just lost their loved one, let's say a parent, a spouse, or a child. That person is going to be in a lot of grief initially, and they're going to mourn. And for the next 2 or 3 days, this person is going to remember that their loved one is no longer there in their life, and this causes pain to amplify, which is the first part of the grieving process. Now, imagine if this person had a fantastic memory. Every time he recollected the event of his loved one passing away, the emotion would rekindle in his brain, and he would start feeling that pain of separation as if it were the first day it ever happened. And that would trigger trauma again in him, and that would really bring this person down. So, there are certain traumatic events in life that we go through, certain difficulties and challenges we face, which shapes the way we are as a person. So our brain, that has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, is designed to protect us. So whenever we face any traumatic incident or something that can leave us scarred emotionally, what the brain tries to do is it tries to repress these emotions so that, number one, we don't remember them with such intensity, and number two, sometimes we don't recollect them at all. Because if we were ever to remember these emotions, the feeling of these emotions would regenerate in our body, and generally these are very uncomfortable feelings, and this can really hamper you. Let's say you took a risk at some point of time, okay, and that risk did not pay off, and as a result you're worse off now. If you perpetually remember your failure, you'll become very risk aversive, you'll become cocooned, and you won't have the same level of enthusiasm to go out and try again and try and succeed this time. So, if you had a perfect memory, you would remember each and every time you failed, and that would constrict you, that would make you limited, and that would prevent you from taking further risk. By having the emotion of that memory weakened to the point that you almost don't remember your failure, or even if you do, you remember it factually but not emotionally, you get the courage to take action again and come to the challenge or rise to the challenge with the same level of enthusiasm. So, as you can see, the reason why you want to have a weak memory, or let's say, let's not talk about having a weak memory. Let's say the reason it's good to forget is you can forget your fears, you can forget your past traumas, and you will stop remembering things that never even took place. I shouldn't have called it having a weak memory. I would just title this video the wonders of being able to forget. It's not something that most people have paid attention to. Most people want an amazing memory so that they can remember as much as they can and they can do well in their endeavors. But sometimes being able to forget something and not let it be a part of your life at all is a gift from the heavens, clearly. And if you reflect on your life and what's happened so far, you would agree that you face certain situations where you had failed before but you still decided to take action again, and the reason you did well at that was the memory of failure was not so fresh and strong. So forgetting once in a while, or forgetting perpetually, as long as it helps you drop your limiting beliefs, can be really powerful. And that's one reason why it may not be the best idea to wish for a very powerful memory.